That's really like a big lesson for me is I should just give plants away when they stop sparking joy for me rather than letting them die a slow and painful death on my patio. The next plant here, you can already see in this picture that it does not look great. So this actually, this is my classroom. I was a teacher last year. I am no longer a teacher, just in case I get any questions about it. This plant was actually given to me by a friend. She was moving and couldn't take it with her, so I took it along. And it lived in my classroom and it was so happy. Like, I can't even explain why the plants in my classroom were happy. They were all north-facing windows, and I guess the classroom lights were on sometimes. I usually would teach with natural light, though. I liked that a lot more, just for me and the kids both. I mean, I had so many windows in my room, but they were north-facing, so they weren't super strong over here in the northern hemisphere. So I just don't know how they were surviving, but they were really happy. And this plant actually was a victim. Actually, all of the plants on this shelf were a victim of the great bookshelf fall of 2019. That is what my students called it. And I was moving this bookshelf actually to take this very photo, and I was moving it back, and all of a sudden the bookshelf just split in half and fell. And so all of the books on the shelf, all of the plants, everything just went and I was shocked. It was so loud. And my classroom was right above the principal's office. So I can just imagine what she heard down there. All of the students in the classroom next to me actually ran in to see if I was okay because it was so loud that it really was like concerning. After I cleaned up the shelf, some of the plants survived, some of them didn't. And unfortunately, this gorgeous Aglaonema did not make it. And I'm so sad about it because it was such a solid plant. And when I move into a bigger space and like I have rooms that I can fill up with plants or I just need a plant for that room, I'm definitely going to be getting this type of Aglaonema if I can find it because they're such good plants. They're so solid. They need next to nothing from you. So definitely if you like easy plants, this is one of them. The next plant, I knew that there would be plants in this video that would get me a little bit sad and emotional because this is actually my very first Fittonia I ever owned. And I have never owned a Fittonia this beautiful since. And I know that it looks really weird in this photo because as it was growing, it kept like spreading out and it was getting a little bit leggy. And this was at the point, I think in this post, I was asking if I should trim it back or not. And what I ended up doing was I trimmed it back and then I put the pieces back into the pot and didn't water propagate them. I was trying to soil propagate them and it just did not go well. And so I lost a lot of the plant in the process of that. And then I went on vacation and it didn't get watered because I think it was behind another plant, so my roommate didn't see it. It died a really sad and tragic death, and this is really one of the plants that I'm so bummed about. I wish so badly that I still had it. It was so beautiful. And seriously, like the Fittonia that I have now is not as great as this one. I still think about this plant all the time. Rest in peace, little buddy. I'm so sad. I miss you so much. All right, this next plant was another online order. This was one of my first online orders as well. It was like in the same time period that I ordered the first Adansonii. And this string of hearts, it's a variegated string of hearts, and it was from an Etsy store. I don't remember who I ordered it from. And it was literally the tiniest plant ever, and I think I paid like $30 for this, and then it died, which was so sad, and I don't even really know why it died, but when I pulled it out of the pot, I noticed it wasn't doing well. There was like not a root system at all, and so I put it in water, and it was surviving in water and actually started to put out new growth, and then I went on vacation and it died. I think that's a theme in this video, like I went on vacation and then it died. If I was leaving on a long enough trip, I would leave my plants with a plant sitter, I guess. But I think that anytime you leave town, you should expect that something is going to go wrong. And unfortunately, it did not go right. All right, so the next plant that I want to address in this plant funeral video is this gorgeous Philodendron Hope. And this was actually one of my first houseplants. I was so proud of it. It grew so much, it got so big. But there was just a point in its life where things just started going downhill, and I really am not sure why. It didn't have a pest, it didn't have a watering issue. I thought perhaps it was a light issue in my old house. I didn't have a ton of great light there, but then I brought it to my new place and it just still was not very happy. So I put it on the patio and it didn't survive the patio. So it's gone now and I'm really sad about it, but in the end of its life, it was not this full, like as full as this plant is right here. It was really stringy and stretched out, and it just looked so bad. It definitely did not look like this when it died. If it had looked like this when it died, I would have been gutted, but it was like a slow and painful death, you know, like it was not good. So definitely rest in peace to my philodendron hope. I miss this plant so much. It was such a great staple, so easy to care for, but all of a sudden something just went wrong, and I really don't know what it was. All right, next plant that I want to talk about here is this wax ivy, a variegated wax ivy. Variegated wax ivy was one of the first houseplants that I ever had a clipping of, and I grew one. It was in my last plant funeral video. So I think that if a plant debuts itself twice, like twice in a row in these plant funeral videos, I should just not have that plant anymore. So I'm taking that hint, and I'm not going to buy any more wax ivies, even though they're so beautiful, and I think that they're so fun and gorgeous. But for some reason, they do really, really well for a while, and then all of a sudden things just go I don't know why. Maybe I just wasn't paying close enough attention to it, but suddenly things just started going really wrong, and I actually just threw it away before it actually died because I needed the pot and the plant was not doing well. Comment down below if you do that too. All right, this next one. This is the single plant that died when I took it home from California. So if you didn't know, I took a road trip mainly in Southern California, just visiting a bunch of plant shops and hanging out with people and really just kind of having like a last hurrah, like solo trip. Basically what happened with this one is it wasn't for sale when I went to the shop. I went to Mickey's Hargitay in LA. Sorry if I said that wrong. But anyway, I saw it and it wasn't for sale. So this is one of the plants that I wanted to find, was a wide form Adansonii. And it wasn't for sale at the time because it had recently come in from Europe and they were still acclimating them. And so they decided that they would sell it to me because I was asking about it specifically. I took it home and it put out a lot of new leaves. Like, it was doing so well. I was confused as to why they were so like, take heed with the plant. But then all of a sudden, things went wrong. And I don't know why or what happened. But I think the only thing that I can think is maybe the plant got spider mites. I don't even know, because I remember seeing like webbing on the plant, but it wasn't a lot, and I was thinking that it was dust more than anything. And so once I saw the webbing, I took all the precautions necessary, and then it lived for a while after that, and then all of a sudden it just, something happened. So really, really sad. I went on a vacation, came back, and it was dead. I think it was, I went on my honeymoon, I came back, and it was just gone. So really sad stuff there. The next plant is my zebra plant, and this plant was so beautiful. It was doing so good. I have no idea what happened. Okay, so this plant is a really great one because it's very vocal about what it wants and what it needs. When it is thirsty, it will literally deflate. And so that is how I gauged whether it needed water or not, or whatever it needed. I just did that, and it lived outside for most of the year. And then when I moved into my new house, I just realized that a lot of it was not very happy. And then eventually, I think I just threw it away before it fully died because I knew that it was looking very bleak. But I've noticed that whenever I move, I do lose a couple of plants, and this is one of them. And so since I moved this year, I think that's why it feels like there's a lot of plants that died. Maybe it was because it was in a different window situation, or not different window, but just different patio situation, because it went from being outside at my old place to being outside at my new place. And it just did not like it here, and I did not know what to do to fix it. And it wasn't necessarily a plant that really meant a lot to me, so I wasn't going to go out of my way to make sure that it had exactly what it needed. Like, if it was gonna die, it was gonna die, and that's just kind of how I felt about it. I sound like I don't really appreciate my plants in this video, but that is not true at all. Like I said earlier in the video, sometimes you're just over a plant and you're kind of excited when it dies, you know? So I feel like a lot of these plants, I kind of had that sense of relief when they died, except for the Fittonia. I was very sad about the Fittonia, but mainly relief with everything else. I have to address this. My variegated elephant ear alocasia, the most beautiful plant that I have ever seen, easily. And I've seen some beautiful plants. Like, I own some beautiful plants, but I have never seen or owned anything as beautiful as this. And I was so gutted when it died. I didn't even want to publicly address it because I was so sad. But basically what happened is I brought it back from Florida, And he was doing really great for a while, and then all of a sudden the leaves started to droop, and I was like, water, we need water.